Hey guys, working on a 2015 Infiniti QX80, and I got a yucky P0430 code. This is a catalytic converter bank 2 code. Let's talk about how to go about this so that I can pass inspection. When you first get this code, it's really nothing fun about it. It typically means you need a catalytic converter, but not always. Your scan tool, you can check and see what the catalytic converter temperatures are using the upstream and downstream sensors if your vehicle supports it. I'll show you guys something in a second too. But other than that, now you got two more options. You can replace your upstream sensor and or your downstream sensor. If you replace those and your catalytic converter code goes away, good for you. If they don't, then typically usually means that you're gonna need a catalytic converter, okay? But one thing I like to do is, before I just jump to start throwing money at parts, I like to use live data. And when the vehicle's running and the vehicle's up to temperature, you can hook up your scan tool and run live data, and you can see your upstream oxygen sensor voltage, catalytic converter temperature, and if you can, your downstream sensor voltage and your downstream sensor temperature. Now for for your sensor 2, which is your downstream oxygen sensor, if I'm not mistaken, usually those temperatures want to hover around 7, like 5 to 1 volt. It's like a sensor, so the voltage is kind of clean. It has like maybe a little bit of modulation, but it should be relatively clean, okay? And for your upstream sensor, which is also known as your air fuel ratio sensor, it'll kind of look like a circadian rhythm. Like it'll kind of go like this. It'll kind of look like a sequence that it follows, okay? And that's what a normal thing looks like for the upstream sensor. It'll kind of look like a heartbeat, like on a heartbeat monitor. And for the downstream sensor, the voltage should kind of hover between, like, it should stay under 1 volt, okay? And the voltage should only kind of fluctuate a little bit for the downstream sensor. But when I tried to hook up my live data, I'm gonna show you guys something that I've seen. So if you see here, I'm looking at this is a still picture. This is a screenshot. But if you see here, it says my catalytic converter temperature is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. That's way off. That doesn't make any sense at all. And then for the voltage, it's only at 0.3 and it didn't change. So I knew something electrical must be going on here that's causing this, because just earlier, or a day or two ago, I was running live data and these catalytic converters were like 1,000 degrees. So I know something's up with the electrical, and this is the first thing I'm going to take a look at first, and then I'll show you also another thing you can do for the catalytic converter. But I need to check my electrical because these numbers are way off and they are incorrect. I'll also show the live data after we're done with this procedure and see the difference, okay? So let's jump to the battery and see something here. And if we look here, this is our battery, okay? This is our negative here, and this is our positive, if you don't know. And one thing I'm gonna check for is to see the voltage of this battery. If this battery is weak, what can happen is, as it sits overnight, it is winter time, so it's really put your electrical system through its paces. But first thing we want to take a look at here is to see if our battery is low or weak. A good battery or a great battery is at like 12.7. A battery that should be replaced is usually around 12.1 and below. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna flip this up, and that's already a sign here that I don't like to see. But we're gonna touch this ground, we're gonna touch this power, and we are at about 12.35. That's not bad, so that's still a good battery. But the one thing that's throwing me off here is this terminal. I do not like it. We're playing with electricity here. I always recommend removing the ground terminal first. And we're gonna clean these, we're gonna re-lubricate them, and I'm gonna change the positive. So for right now, we're gonna loosen this up and wobble that out. I'm gonna put this rubber glove here so that I don't have a spark, if anything. So if this still touches it, we won't have any electricity going through it. And I'm gonna actually disconnect this. Let me see if I have a terminal. Alright, so first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna loosen this up. Get that a little bit loose like that. Cool. I'm gonna swap this out here. I'm gonna break this bolt. Ooh. There we go. And now we're gonna detach this. Oh, I did not mean to do that. That could have been scary. and kind of lift this up. Okay, and pull this up as well. We're gonna clean all of this. And now this terminal can go bye-bye. Look at this. This is just yucky. See the difference between the two? It's night and day. This is yeah, this terminal is horrible. Alright, let's clean up these terminals before we put anything new on yet. So what we're gonna do here is just get a wire brush, clean this up. I'm gonna get this here. Just knock off as much rust as I can.
Okay, same thing here.
Let me wipe this down, and just like that, that's as good to go. Let's come over here now. This one's in much better condition. I could consider replacing this too. I should have bought two of these. I never thought they took the same thing, but
here's what it is. Cool, just like that.
Same scenario. Wipe this down. Cool. Alright, put this red post right here, like this. Yeah, and the goal of this is to extend the life of everything here. So I'm gonna slide both of these like that, and then slide this over the post. Here, it is cold out here, you guys. I need to be kind of quick because I am freezing my tail off. And now we're just gonna get this on there just like that. We don't got to destroy it or anything. That's tight, just like that. We're gonna snug her down. You don't gotta overdo it, and that should not move much at all, and that feels amazing. Okay, now I'm just gonna hit this a little bit more terminal spray so that doesn't act up again or ever give us any problems, any excess here. It's cold out here, you guys, so sorry if it looks like it's real excessive, but now I'm gonna put this cover back over top like that, and now we're gonna get this here, slide that over, and just like that. And this one should get a decent amount of shock, we'll see. I'm trying to be careful here. All right, nothing too bad. Cool. And now we snug this down. A little bit more. Okay, yeah, now we're money. All right, and I'm gonna do the same thing again. Just so that does not corrode on us again. And just wipe off the excess. And this is just to show why cleaning your terminals and keeping them lubricated is important. This is bad. Anyway, let's keep going. For this P0430 code, this is probably the cheapest route to go before you start, you know, dabbling with the O2 sensors or taking off the cat. You can try something like this called Cataclean. It'll, for the most part, clean through, as you put it in your gas tank, and it'll clean through your catalytic converter and try to, you know, do its best to clean it up. If it's not really bad like that, this may solve your issue. Reduces hydrocarbon emissions up to possibly 50%. It's good to try it before emission tests, which I need this. I need to pass emissions. Decrease carbon buildup. It cleans the oxygen sensors, it cleans the fuel injectors, and it cleans the cylinder heads. All very good things I need here. You're supposed to empty the whole entire bottle in the gas tank. You're supposed to do it at about 1/4 tank. I'm actually about at a half. I don't know if that's gonna matter too much, but and then drive normally for 10 to 15 miles, then refuel. Use 2 to 4 times per year for optimal performance. Worst case scenario, you may need to get 2 of these if the first one, if the first one isn't like perfect, or you notice a difference, maybe try a second bottle. But I'm gonna put this in the gas tank and I'm gonna drive the vehicle around. I'm actually not gonna do that today because I'm gonna take this truck to work, and then I'll put this stuff in there and see if it does what it needs to do. You drive about 60 to 100 miles, you have sensors that you have to clear before your check engine light or any other codes come back on in the vehicle. After you drive that 60 to 100 miles, usually you can go into your scan tool and check for your smug and make sure that you'll pass smug. And if I do, good, I get to go pass inspection and get my tags. If not, I got more work to do. Praying to the car gods here, you guys. I'll get back with you guys tomorrow.
The next day.
Okay, you guys, part 2 on the Infiniti QX80 with the P0420 and 430. If you remember here, I replaced this positive lead here because it was really rusty, and I figured that might have been what was giving me these erratic numbers. So when I put the Cataclean in there and I ran it, I actually passed smug. I passed inspection, which is good. But when my check engine light came back on, as you can see there for bank 1 and bank 2, the upstream sensor is saying that it's only measuring 32 degrees. So yeah, something's got to be wrong there. And also, this is what it's supposed to look like around 800. And the second time my check engine light came on, it was saying that I'm only at 147 degrees. So I got a gut feeling that these upstream oxygen sensors are kind of just erratically going bad, and I want to change them. I do want to show that the bank 2 sensor 2, the downstream sensors, this is what normal oxygen sensors look like for the downstream. Around 0.6 and around 0.8 is a good voltage. It shouldn't go over 1, and it shouldn't really go under a volt. So the downstream sensors look like they're doing their job perfectly well, but the upstream sensors seem like they're acting up a little bit. So for that reason, I'm going to change the upstream sensor. To begin, your lugs are 21 millimeters. Break them on the ground. You can lift the car up and put jack stands. I'm skipping through some stuff here. Get some penetrating fluid and your oxygen sensor. I am on the passenger side, by the way. I'm using a bungee cord to keep this out. And the oxygen sensor sits right here. Take this little thing off right there. That's where it is. Spray it with some penetrating fluid. And if you follow the cord up, right here, you just push the tab in. And that is a 4-pin tab. This is a 2015. The older ones might be a little bit different. And then you can kind of like just peel this back. So, right here. And I will admit that the passenger side is the easier side. We'll figure out the driver's side. I like to do the easier side first because you can run into some problems. It can take a long time to do the harder side. But as you see right here, I got the bar kind of sticking out a good amount. And it's adjustable. I'm going to put an extender on here and see if we can break that free. And we have our leverage. And just remember, lefty loosey, righty tighty. I'm applying pressure. And I think I got it. Whew. Yeah, she's coming out. And oh my god, she's out. And let's go look at our new part. And let me show you the old sensor here. See, it got that really white stuff. I don't know what that is, but if you cannot see that, I know it may be hard to see, but this actually does say Denso on it. So I just wanted to show you guys that the OEM actual OE part for the 2015, I think if you have like a 2012 or 2013, the part may be a little different, but I believe if you have a 2014 or newer, maybe up to like 2019 or 20, your OEM part should be a Denso 2349-148. Don't use any other part, use the actual OE part. this is what it looks like out of the box. I do want to make sure that this has anti-seize on it, which it does. If it does not have anti-seize on it, put some on there. You always want to have anti-seize on your O2 sensors. And this is a 4-pin, just like the old one. That is perfect. One thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to use this little O2 sensor bong. It's like a cleaner that will clean up the threads and rethread it if anything is damaged. I like doing this one before you install a new one, because if it goes on crooked or cockeyed, you could damage the threads and then you got to get another O2 sensor. So I'm going to use this in here and just clean that bong out. There were no problems, and I know I'm ready for the new O2 sensor. Alright, always get it in by hand first. And let's torque her down. The torque spec for this is 37 foot-pounds, but since we're using anti-seize, just don't go too far. If it feels like it doesn't want to go anymore, just stop. But let's see if I can get 37 foot-pounds on this. 7. There we go. And that is a way of just making sure that you put it in there completely. Snap her back in. And hear that thing snap. And we're all the way in. And just make sure you tap. Make sure you get this back in place, and make sure that that sensor, the wire, is away from the exhaust. And that looks pretty good. Now I can go do the driver's side. Same scenario. I got the bungee cord. And if you see here, this is like the air lines. I think this is some brake lines and air lines. But you want to kind of get your deep well socket right here and like fit this in between these two lines like that. And that looks good. And as you can see there, the connector is up there. And then you unhook it from that metal clip just like the other side. All thing I'll say is that you gotta get one hand through here and then reach another hand over top of the suspension, the little suspension steering link, and then you can release that tab. So let's see if we can break this now. And again, man, having that adjustability is a great thing. We're gonna get our piece of pipe right here and try to make sure you're maintaining good pressure. I did it. God damn. And then fish this through. And the chaser did his job. And let's get ready to drop the new one in. And I just wanted to show you guys something. Just from the cap being on there, just get your thumb and just wipe that excess off of the little holes right there. You don't want to get a false reading because of that. Now we can get her in. That's how you know you're in there tight and in there as much as you need to be. And now, again, pull that through. Make sure your wires are unraveled. You don't ever want to stick it in there and all your wires are like tangled up, so just make sure that they're unraveled. There we go, we're plugged all the way in. And just move her down and make sure she's not touching that exhaust or anything. Perfect. Okay, and just like that, we have the two Upstream sensors installed. For those of you who don't know, the Upstream O2 sensors are also known as air-fuel ratio sensors. They do kind of play with your fuel economy a little bit. They're a lot more important than the Downstream sensor. So I'm gonna clear the codes out. We're gonna start the truck up, and then I'm gonna have to drive it for a couple hundred miles and see if the code comes back. And also, I guess I gotta show you guys how to use the heat gun at some point, probably in a couple days. But let's get it started. And there you go, the P0420 and 430. I'm gonna clear it. Okay, so what happens is these are going to kind of stay in like a ghost code situation until the car goes through its cycles. My check engine light should be off, but these will probably go away after the smug check clears. And let's start her up. And good money. So just make sure you check for leaks. Remember, you just cleared the check engine light out, so you gotta let everything run and cycle. And we'll check live data as well in the future. And hopefully this code doesn't come back. If it does, I'll get back with you guys. So this is a continuation of our diagnosis of our P0420 code and our P0430 code. As you can see here, our bank 1 sensor 2 and our bank 2 sensor 2 is going up and down a lot. You really don't want to see that. You usually want to see, when you're looking at your downstream O2 sensors, you usually want to see kind of a more of a consistent line with small humps every now and then, but like this is kind of rapidly going up and down, and that's actually what we don't want to see. And as you can see here, our catalytic converter temperatures are at about 140 degrees. I'm letting the engine get hot, and I'm looking at my short-term fuel trims, which don't really look bad. So what I'm going to do here is, because I can see the front of the catalytic converter temperature, but I can't see the back, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jack the car up, and we're going to look and use a heat gun to see what our temperatures look like before the cat and after the cat. Usually a good catalytic converter will usually be about 50 degrees hotter coming out than it is going in. I mean, it's usually 50 degrees hotter on post cat than it is before the cat. So in the front of the cat, let's say it's 132 degrees, we should see at least something around 180 degrees on the backhand side of the catalytic converter. So I'm gonna take this to the I'm gonna take this to the house, jack it up in the air, and we're gonna investigate and look at our catalytic converter temperatures here. Just to show you guys, I'm underneath the car. I'm basically underneath the driver's side seat right here, transfer case. This is our secondary cat. This is our downstream O2 sensor. This is our primary cat right here. What I'm gonna do here is, with the heat gun, I have it on degrees Fahrenheit. Right here at the back of the cat, we are at 450 degrees. I'm gonna try to get a good reading on the front. All right, I found a good spot on the catalytic converter in the front. What does that say? About 460 degrees right there. Let's check this one again. And this is actually lower. So chances are, let me put right here. Now if I put it right here at the back of the flange, that's about 500 degrees Fahrenheit. It's about 500. And if we put it right there, they're almost identical. So this cat is going bad on the driver's side. Let's check the passenger. I'm on the passenger side now, and it's a lot easier to get a hold of this one. This catalytic converter is about 500 degrees. It's about 500 degrees Fahrenheit. And let's go check the back right here. No way. This is 200. Check right here. And that is even lower. So this passenger side cat looks like it's really having a problem. Okay, so it's not that my downstream O2 sensors aren't working. I will definitely be needing catalytic converters. Like I said, we're about 455 degrees here. And We're at about 460 right now. 460. Yeah, the numbers are almost identical. So this catalytic converter is not doing its job like it's supposed to anymore. I'm gonna have to replace these. For the sake of it, I don't know if these are true catalytic converters or not, but let's just take a look. Right here, before this cat, we're looking at about 430 degrees. And if I look here after this, look at that. That says 325. What if I go here? Yeah, that's crazy. So if this is a catalytic converter too, it's not really doing its job that well either. 323, 400. So yeah, that's a big drop off. And I have this here, 450 degrees. And on this side, 355. Yeah, it's looking like these catalytic converters are shot. This is, I think, part 3 or part 4 on the P0420/P0430 code, okay? I'm just going to get you guys back up to speed. I tried Cataclean. I also did change my my positive terminal was bad. I changed that. We changed our upstream O2 sensors, and we checked our catalytic converters with the heat gun to ensure that our catalytic converter is not working. They are not working perfectly, which happens. I think if your catalytic converter is below like 95% threshold, that's what caused the P0420 and the P0430 code to come on. I was supposed to be able to get these fixed under warranty, but you know how warranty companies are. They did not honor it, and they would not replace it. So until I'm ready to shell out the money to work on that project myself, I have one last alternative to get your check engine light off. Whether you need to pass inspection, whether you want to wait till you want to do your catalytic converters, what you can use is this right here. It is from catalyzer.com, and if you heard about them, this is called some people like to call this a spark plug non-fouler, or you could call this a O2 sensor spacer. And I'm going to show you how this differs from a normal spark plug non-fouler. When it is time to install this, basically your spark plug will go in, not your spark plug, your O2 sensor will go in here. This is the 90-degree elbow. Mini Catalyzer sells 3 different ones. They sell the straight, they sell 45-degree, and then they sell the 90. The only reason I bought the 90 is because space looks a little bit limited underneath the car. But what you're going to see here is that this backs off the O2 sensor from the exhaust flow, which will help stabilize the oxygen sensor's efficiency. And what's cool is that this has this, if you can see in here, there's something called a mini catalyzer in here. It acts like a mini catalytic converter, which will help smooth out the O2 sensor and help get rid of that P0420 and P0430 code. Okay, so a normal spark plug spacer, O2 sensor spacer, it just backs it off a little bit, whereas this, not only does it back it off, it also has a mini catalyzer in here to make it efficiency. And I can use this as an adjuster to adjust the height. And for this, once I'm ready, once I find the position I want to put this in, I have some space. I have some crush washer. That's the only thing that didn't come with this. Throw a crush washer in here. If you don't have a crush washer, you could possibly use thread locker. And then I'm gonna install this like this. Tighten it down. Can't do it with one hand. There we go. Tighten it down, and then I'm gonna install it. So let's go underneath the car. I'm gonna show you where the downstream O2 sensors are, and we're gonna get this on. So for starters, I am on the passenger side. I think this is considered bank 1. And if you follow this under here, I don't even have to jack the car up. We'll be probably right where you see this bar going across. If you look where this Y is and you follow it down, this is your secondary cat that is unmonitored. And this is our O2 sensor right there that we need to attack. I already sprayed this with some WD-40 ahead of time, So hopefully that is to my benefit. So you push in the tab, and I know it's hard to see. I do apologize. Kind of come in here and you pull it out, unhook it from there. Now we can work on this O2 sensor. I already sprayed it with penetrating fluid ahead of time. I recommend you do the same. Let this sit for a couple hours. Let's see if we can get her out. Like that. Right there. There she goes. And I think I got her. Yep. I cracked her. And that's perfect. She's out. Let us prepare for our new O2 sensor. A spark plug chaser. And I'm just twisting it through just to clean the threads. This thing came out pretty smooth for me, so I think I'll be fine. But if your threads come out a little bit yucky, you can get a spark plug chaser and re-clean the threads. So this is our spark plug adapter here. You can use this to adjust the height to find the position that you want. This is our O2 sensor. This is an NTK, and I'm just going to just clean those threads up. Cool. Remember, we have intentions to take this back off in the future, so I'm going to put just a little dab of copper anti-seize on here. Don't get it on the O2 sensor itself, like that. And I'm just going to spread her nice and thin. Perfect. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. This is a indefinite, I mean not indefinite, but this is a indefinite repair until I'm ready to take on those catalytic converters. I've seen people have P0420 and 430 codes for years and their car run perfectly fine. But until I'm ready to do that, we want to make sure that we can get this back off with no issues. And just make sure we don't have any of that on the thing. Okay, and then now what this is going to do, this is going to go in here, and this is going to snug this down. I'm going to tighten this down with a 7/8 off screen with my adjustable, and then when we're ready and I find the spot I like, we'll thread her in. And I have it like this with an adjustable wrench locking her in place, and then a 7/8 here. And nothing crazy, but snug her down. She's tight now, and I'll bring my little washer here. Just remember to put that back. Now I'm gonna find the position I want to put this in, and then we'll get the oxygen sensor in. And now, just try to position it somewhere that isn't in the way of anything, and that in the future, when it's time to take this back off, you can get it off. I'll install it like this, just like that. Okay. Got that light there, and I just used the O2 sensor socket and just slid her on there and snapped her down. Now I'm gonna bring this cord over to the plug and lock her in. And I did have to adjust it a little bit to get it to go back in the exact spot. I could have unhooked it and just had the wire hang a little bit, but that's okay. This position works. Let's jump over to the driver's side, which I think is bank 2. To save time, if you see the front drive shaft sits right here, just kind of run your hand over, get your hand, push the tab in, pull it, and it sits in this little hook right here. It's in a little interesting spot. Now we're going to try to get her out, and we're going to repeat the same thing we did last time. Alright, make sure she's all the way seated, and now good, she's out. I'm going to prep it and do the same thing. And this is what it looks like on the driver's side. I did have to disconnect the sensor from the clip. Hindsight's 20/20, but probably want to get the 45-degree one because it barely fits in its normal position. But I just took it down, and now it is connected. That's hard to see. And we are connected right there. And we are not making contact with the drive shaft. It cannot touch it. It's in a perfect position. So with that being done, we're gonna start her up, clear the codes, and take it for a spin. And these should not return. Codes are cleared. It's clear. Always check for exhaust leaks. Until then, I'll get back to you guys and we'll take a look at our live data. Thing to do is to check for exhaust leaks. She's been running for a little bit. I took her for a little drive already. Don't touch that exhaust, that shit is hot. And no bubbles. We're good on this side. I'm gonna check the other side now for me. And everything looks perfect. All right, let's go inside the car and let's talk about these spacers real fast. And this is just to show the difference between when without the spacers and with them, with O2 sensor spacers. The O2 sensor is way more stable. As far as voltage is concerned, 0.9 voltage means you're running relatively rich. 0.1 voltage means you're running lean. We are running at around 0.7, which seems to be pretty optimal for this truck. If the code returns, I will let you know. But as of right now, to say it's not working, I would be lying. Keep an eye on it. I'll see if fuel economy might change a little bit, and then I'll talk about a disclaimer if I didn't already with the O2 sensor spacers. Let us talk about these O2 sensor spacers really quick. And as you can see here, I'm sitting here idling. I'm at 0.2 volts. That means that this car is running really chill, really. This is more towards the leaner side, which is good when you're idling. 0.5 is optimal. 0.9 is rich. 0.1 is lean. So we're running pretty solid. We're around 0.3 volts as idle. That's pretty beautiful. But I do want to talk about some things. Depending on where you live, this is not legal. This is a disclaimer. If you live in a state that visually looks at your O2 sensors, you will fail. If you live in a state that does like the monoxide testing, or like they hook it up to your exhaust, technically you could still pass. Most of the time you get a P0420 and P0430 when the catalytic converter is only at like 95% efficiency. So it's a hit or miss, but usually you can still pass. And if you're in a state like mine where you cannot have a check engine light on to pass emissions, this will work for you as well. Now, this does not fix your catalytic converters. I will say this: if you have clogged catalytic converters, meaning there's a blockage, this will definitely not fix it. If you have catalytic converters that are rattling or the honeycomb is broken into pieces, this will not fix your problem. Technically, this is a temporary solution. For me, it will be an indefinite solution. But so until I am ready to do the exhaust manifolds on this vehicle, we should be working good for now. We look like we are fine.
2 weeks later.
So you guys, here's what I want to give you about my review of the mini catalyzer. This did get rid of my P0420 code, but this did, like, maybe every like 500 miles or so, I get a check engine light for just a O2 sensor. It doesn't say catalytic anything, no below catalytic threshold. It's literally just a O2 sensor code. Okay, so what I did was I did still go buy new ones. They're NGKs if I'm not mistaken, or NTK, yep, and I'll put the part number up. But what I'm assuming is because of this catalyzer and because of the way it angles, I think it makes my O2 sensors work too good, which makes the computer think that these are malfunctioning. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually kind of downgrade to a simpler style. I'm going to downgrade to a simpler style O2 sensor spacer. Still has this mesh here, but it's just going to be a little bit simpler. It's going to allow more airflow. I mean, it's going to allow more exhaust to the O2 sensor to hopefully, because when I look at live data, it's really smooth. Like, it has like no curvature. Hopefully with these I get a little bit more like humps in my exhaust, so that it makes it think that this is doing its job properly. So with this, just gonna slide it in there, and unlike the other one which takes really big sockets, this takes a 7/8 also. I'm gonna tighten this down before I put it in and put a little anti-seize on here, and then I'm gonna run the live data again. And that's what she looks like on the back and on the driver's side. Now I'll start her up and we will check the live data. Now, using the new O2 sensor spacers, notice that we have fluctuations. They're nice and spaced out instead of being really close together back when I was having the P0420 and the 430 codes. Now with the new O2 sensor spacer, we're nice and more spaced out, like the pulses of the engine. It looks to be working normal now. Voltage is good. My my check engine light has not returned. And I think the only difference with the mini catalyzer was that because it was a 90°, there was so little exhaust actually getting to the O2 sensor spacers, to the O2 sensor, that my voltage was really smooth and streamlined. And I think that was throwing off the ECU, made it think that the oxygen sensors just wasn't working right. And I think that's why I was just getting that random O2 sensor code. But now I'm gonna go back here to smug, and we're gonna do a smug check, and we're gonna scan it. And as you can see here, we have zero confirmed, 0 pending, and all our tests are complete. So for the time being, as long as your catalytic converters are not in terrible shape, you can live to see another day. At some point in time, I will have to address the catalytic converters, but for the time being, I'm good to go. Thanks for watching, you guys. Till next time, out. Bye.